Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Superhero Son Gohan Beast. I want to do a quick question of the day right out of the gate, right away. How do you guys feel about this transformation? I don't know too much about it lore-wise, but I do know that he's the first Saiyan to ever have this transformation, and he is also the one that keeps not wanting to be a fighter half the time and being totally worthless. I liked Gohan for a while, and then he became just totally worthless. So what do you guys think about him having a new transformation with the super spiky hair and everything when Goku and Vegeta... Maybe it's explained. You guys can let me know. But if it is explained, let me know. And if it isn't, let me know how you feel about it. But none of the other guys, Broly, Goku, Vegeta, any of them have ever done this, so I don't know how I feel about it. Let me know. Okay, so this figure does some very interesting things. Some things really well. A couple things not as well as it could do, but it is a pretty solid release. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands, not counting his hair, because that's not fair, about 13.75 centimeters to where the top of the head would be in there somewhere. It's going to be about 5 3/8 inches. Here he is up against Darwin, totally different scale, but you can see that's what he looks like up against a Marvel Legends 1/12 scale figure. Alright, the aesthetic on this guy is a little bit of a glimpse into what we're going to be seeing going forward with this line. I think he was already, the first version of this guy was already really bulky and really thick, and that's definitely the direction they're going with that new Goku that's coming out soon-ish. Not soon, but compared to never, it's pretty soon. And so I think that's a pretty good thing. I do think for the longest time, the Dragon Ball figures have been too thin. I think basically since the beginning I've been saying that. So it's nice to see a little bit of mass on this guy, and it does look really good. What about the neck, you say? The neck on the last figure was questionably short, and I still say it's questionably short. Is it necessarily wrong? No. Maybe should it be a little bit taller? I don't know, maybe. I think it's okay though. Especially since the way Dragon Ball figures usually are, they don't tend to have long necks, although sometimes they have really long necks. They're not drawn consistently. I think this is okay. Alright, so as far as paint goes, there's really no paint on this guy as far as shading, although this part right here seems to have a little bit of airbrushing on it, and maybe up here too, but that's it. I don't see it anywhere else, so I don't know if that's some kind of factory issue or if it actually is supposed to have shading on the two shoulder pads. I don't know. The only other place there's any shading is the hair, and it's not done particularly well. You can see it's kind of just a gray line going around rather than actually having shading. Now they relied on the sculpt to make it look like it was feathered, but it's really not feathered that well. If you zoom in, you can see a pretty harsh line going right around there. So it could be better is all I'm saying, but that's not been a strong suit for this line ever when it comes to the hair shading. As far as painting the torn spots in the pants, it's pretty good. It's not great, but it's good enough, and it does the job. It's not wonderful, but it's okay. And that's pretty much it for paint. The wrist thingies are painted. Everything else is molded, so it does have a little bit of a plasticky feel to it. It's not glossy though, so that's good. Now the faces, they are painted pretty well. No issues there. It's fine. So yeah, is it the most impressive figure they've ever released, aesthetically speaking? No, definitely not. It's okay. It's good enough, and that's fine. It's basically in line with the other superhero figures. It's nothing special, but it's good enough. So I will say it gets a 7 for the aesthetic. It's fine. Especially since a lot of it is reused. Nothing really standing out here. Now as far as accessories go, you get the neutral face that comes on him in the package, then you get one with a smirk, one with the teeth gritted, one where his mouth is open, he looks kind of angry, and then I thought we were done with this. We get another part for the main release Gohan. That figure must have the most spread out assortment of accessories out of any figure of any line ever. It's insane. He's practically a Build-A-Figure at this point. Okay, then you do get the folded arms accessory. That's nice. 2 fist hands that come out in the package, then a whole slew of style pose hands. That's good. And then we get his stinky finger. I don't know, is it a special beam cannon? I mean, I know it looks like a special beam cannon, and he was raised by his father Piccolo, so I'm guessing that's what it is, but like I said, I haven't seen Superhero yet, so maybe it's some other move that he learned that happens to look like a special beam cannon. It looks like a cross between a special beam cannon and a Kamehameha, if I had to guess, but that's what he gets, and it's done really, really well. Really well. I wish we had a Piccolo special beam cannon now. I always have. And he gets a little acrylic stand to hold that up. So good enough spread of accessories. Nothing crazy, but we got an effect part, so that's awesome. I'm going to go 9 out of 10. Throw a stand in there for him, and that's really all you need. Okay, so let's talk about the articulation. This guy has one fatal flaw, at least. I haven't found any others, but maybe I will. You guys probably remember this from other various figures in the line. When you lean his head forward, it pulls the faceplate off. That's not okay. Now the good thing is, I'll show you this happily, it is just a double ball peg in there. So you do get a little bit of wiggle room to adjust it so that that doesn't happen as easily, but it does happen too easily, so that's a problem. You get a ball peg at the bottom of the neck, the double ball peg there. Let's see what we can do if we can get it to not pop the faceplate off once it's all properly assembled. Okay, everything is in there, nice and tight. Okay, there we go. All right, so if I bring it all the way forward and look down, nope, it still pops the faceplate off. You can get a little bit of range out of it and kind of squish it back together, but you're gonna have to be careful because otherwise, as soon as you move the head, it pops the faceplate. So watch out for that. That's pretty annoying, but you do get good range out of it otherwise. So if you can manage to work around it, this is still a good batch of articulation. So that's okay. Now this guy's shirt is a soft piece. It's not part of the torso, so that's really cool. Shoulder pads as well, though they did something that's annoying. They had to make them two pieces to give him some extra flex for the butterfly range, but when you raise the arm up, it separates it, so that looks kind of bad. Not terrible, but it's not as good as it could be. So this guy has a couple of different ball pegs and things in the arm to make it work properly, and a butterfly joint, and you can bring his arm. You kind of have to fiddle with it because there's a lot of plastic there still, but you can bring his arm pretty far in front of him. You can probably get a little bit more out of it if you wiggle things just the right way, but it does flex pretty well, the shirt does, and the arm has really good range in there. It's kind of hard to show you because there's not a huge gap anywhere for me to get in there. There's no light and you won't be able to see it, but it works nicely. You can get the arm up to just better than horizontal, a little bit higher if you use the inner joints, and of course you get your full rotation, so that's fine. Soft clothing is definitely a good call. I think a little bit more finesse might happen as they get more familiar with making parts like this, but it does work pretty well still. All right, you get your bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. That's fine. Ball hinge wrists, no problem there. For the torso articulation, this might be tricky because he does have some underneath the pecs, but it's kind of not able, you can't really get to it in any way because of the outer clothing. So there's something in there, I don't know what, you can't really make it do much, but you get the lower joint also, so that's okay. I guess if you lean him back, it gets kind of ugly in there. Yeah, this is a decent idea and it's executed well enough in some places, but it does have its limitations. And one of those limitations would be the torso is relatively hindered by the outer layer, which is always the case. Anytime you have plastic on plastic, it's a limitation. I think this is probably a good trade-off, I would say, because it looks better. It depends on how much you want the torso articulation, so there's kind of a give and take. You guys are gonna have to decide for yourself what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. Would you rather have it look good and have fewer gaps in things, but also not pose as well, or would you rather it pose well and have more gaps in things? Let me know. All right, for the hips, they go better than horizontal, so that is pretty good. And then going back, we don't get any range because they sculpted the cheeks on the hard part. That's annoying. They just a tiny bit of range. Going out to the side, basically full on splits. No real problem there. That's going to be all the range you're going to need. That's good. Thigh swivel is fine. I have to say, they did do the shaps thing again, but much better. Like, why didn't Trunks have this? Why did Trunks have weird things that come up all the way over to here? This is how you do it. If you're gonna do it this way, it needs to have the right silhouette, and he does enough, so that's good. So you get your thigh swivel, double jointed knee, not the prettiest thing in the world, but well proportioned and good range, so that's nice. The ankles rotate at the top of the boot, no ball peg up there. You get your ball hinge down here, but the way they did it, the hinge is so small, and the cutouts don't actually accept anything. You get very little range. Toe hinge is acceptable, that's okay. You get a little bit of an ankle rocker out of it, but the way they did this, it's not right. That ball is way too tiny, and there's not enough of a gap for anything to actually tuck in, so very limited ankles for no real reason. So, articulation on this guy is there. It's definitely not the best we've ever seen. He's fairly limited in quite a few ways. Does look better though, so if you like that, then that's the trade-off you're gonna have to pay. take, accept, whatever. I'm gonna give his articulation rating only a 6 out of 10. For a Dragon Ball figure from SH Figuarts, it's pretty limited. Torso is very limited. Shoulders are decent. Faceplate pops off. You know, the ankles aren't good. The legs can't go back. It's just not one of their more articulated figures, especially just for being a human. It's kind of a bummer. So let me know what you guys think about that, though. I don't know. I like the way the shirt looks, but the fact that he can't pose as well in the torso kind of blows. Alright guys, final verdict on this guy. The special effect part, I like that a whole bunch. I like the overall aesthetic of the figure. Articulation is a little lacking. I'm gonna go, it's a 7 out of 10 release, honestly. It's nothing special. You could bump it up to an 8 for the effect part if you want to. I would accept that. I might even endorse that. But yeah, it doesn't pose all that well. That torso is fairly limited. The ankles suck. And the neck pops the face off. So there it is, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. In the meantime, keep collecting.